Hello, my name is Josh Fix. Me and my family live in Tennessee, Eastern Tennessee. We have two boys, 5 and 7, and we wanted to sit down and share some of the benefits that we've received from a 120-year-old book about health, sharing some biblical health principles from yesteryear, essentially you could say inspired health solutions from a biblical standpoint. And there's a lot of different opinions in the world today about health and different things that you could do. It's just so confusing if you go online and research about health, this and that diet and things that you can do. It gets pretty thick pretty quick, and it's overwhelming, frankly. So last year, late last year, around fall, me and the boys got sick in October, got better, and then got sick again in November with snotty nose, cough, all this kind of stuff, phlegm. And it just took us a while to bounce back from that, and we just were dissatisfied with our condition of health. We wanted to improve that. So what we turned to was this book called The Ministry of Healing. It's 120 years old, first published in 1905. And we've been familiar with this book for years. We grew up around it, both me and my wife. I read it for the first time through when I was probably about 18 years old. But then I didn't struggle with, maybe some more north of 30 issues that I do today. And so I didn't think about it too seriously. We put into practice some of the principles in our lives, me and my wife, but we weren't so how do you say, purposeful, maybe about all the principles laid forth. So we tried to do that starting last year, and to just experiment with our health a little bit. And we wanted to share some of the things we were able to resolve health-wise. It was exciting for us, and we thought it'd be exciting for you folks to hear a little bit about what we did and what we were able to correct in our lives and what it achieved. One of the things that we were able to receive benefit from or to conquer was sleepwalking and sleep terrors. I was struggling with sleepwalking, and my oldest son, that's 7 years old, was struggling with night terrors. And I'd been struggling with sleepwalking since probably about my teen years. I can't remember exactly the year. The first instance that I remember was, it didn't seem like it was very late, but I had a dream that there was, I was laying in my bed. I had a dream that it was in my room. I was laying on my bed, and there was a snake coming from my bedside table trying to get onto my bed, like kind of right in front of me. And no one likes getting surprised by snakes, let alone in their bed. So I jumped up really quick, grabbed my pillow, and swiped at the snake, trying to swipe it away from my bed. And then I jumped off my bed across the floor and flipped on the light, trying to jump over the snake wherever it got swished to. And I turned around, and no snake. Just my lamp stand or my bedside table with my lampshade all busted up because I just whacked it with my pillow. And my family comes in, "What's the matter? What's the matter?" I was like, "I just had a dream about a snake." And trying to get on, it just always would seem so very real, whatever was happening. It would take a while for reality to start setting in. Another story, this carried on later on in school. I started working at the school that I went to afterwards. It's called the Wildwood College of Health Evangelism, but I started being a staff member in the maintenance department after I graduated. And I lived with my supervisor and his family, and I shared a room with his son. We were basically the same age. And we shared a bunk bed, right? He was on the top bunk, I was on the bottom bunk. So I had a dream that I had hopped in a coal car of a freight train that was empty. From time to time, when I got bored, or me and my friends got bored, we would mess around with these freight trains that would go right through the campus of the school. Sometimes we'd hop on and ride them for a little bit, and then we'd hop back off before they picked up too much speed. Foolish, I know, but those were the days of my foolishness. But anyways, I had a dream, hopped in one of these coal cars, and looked around. It's interesting. All right, time to get it back out. So I went to raise up, and I hit like a lid had came and was on the top of the coal car. Well, this wasn't here. How did I even get in here with the lid? And I'm trying to push my way out. It's almost like a screen, I think it was in my dream, almost like a screen-like lid. And so I'm pushing against it. It's moving a little bit, but I can't get it to push off. And then I hear what I thought was my supervisor above me. It was his son, who was in the bunk above me. he's like, Josh, what are you doing? It's like, oh, I'm trying to get this train car. What are you doing standing on top of the lid? Because in my dream was like standing on top. I was like, no, I can't get it off because he's on top of the lid. And so I'm pushing and pushing and pushing. And he says, Josh, stop it. What are you doing? I'm like, I'm trying to get out, get off the lid. Or I don't remember what exactly I said. But I was kneeling down in my bed with pushing my back against the bunk above me. And I was shaking the mattress, and all the supports were coming down. The mattress was coming down, and my buddy's there trying to not fall on top of me. But anyway, I came to and realized what I was doing, and we fixed the bed and went back to sleep. But anyhow, after that, you carried on to my married life. And I remember one time I had a dream where the ceiling fan was shaking. It was about ready to fall from the ceiling. The ceiling fan was right above our bed. And so I'm there standing on the bed holding on to the ceiling fan. The ceiling fan is going at this point, and I'm trying to support it. And my wife's like, go back to bed. Come back to bed. You're dreaming. Like, no, I'm not. And I'm trying to argue with her, trying to hold this thing. It's shaking. I forget what I was telling her, but she's arguing with me, and I'm not snapping out of it. Finally, I'm so frustrated because it's a dire situation. She's about ready to get a ceiling fan on her lap or whatever. I just say, woman, is this for real? And I can't remember exactly what I said, but I was really frustrated, and so was my wife. And it was frustrating for her through these dreams I would have that she couldn't make me snap out of it. She's a relatively light sleeper, being a mom, right? And she would have trouble getting back to sleep. I would have no trouble once I snapped out of my dream. I just go right back to sleep, but she would have trouble going back to sleep. So it's just messing up both of our sleeping. And so later on, then my son, my oldest son, he started having night terrors. He would wake up in the night, we hear him start to cry, and then he would he would sit up and he'd start crying for mommy or daddy, and we'd come and to his room and try to make him snap out of it. And if any of you have experienced these with your kids or know anything about night terrors, you have a hard time getting the child to wake back up. And so we're there just trying to wake him up. What happened? Did you have a dream? I don't know. No. And he just started crying again. It was just so weird. I remember one time he came to our room, was crying, and we couldn't get him to stop. Laid down in bed with us, and he still was crying. And so I was like, well, let's go get in the cold shower. And he's more emotional out of our two boys. I thought he was just being emotional, trying to get him to snap out of it. I was just kind of frustrated because I was sleepy. I feel bad about it now, but I put him in the shower a little bit to wake him up, and that didn't make anything better. But later on, we discovered if we just just kind of soothed him and just was quiet, laid with him a little bit, he would eventually just go back to sleep after not too long amount of time. But very disturbing for us. We want to fix that for sure, and not have that happen anymore. So once we start implementing these changes, we noticed that we're able to make the dreams go away for me, the bad dreams for me, and the sleepwalking. And Caleb stopped having the night terrors, our oldest 7-year-old, and it was pretty satisfying to make some changes and to understand what was going on a little bit, and to be able to fix it. I'm a maintenance technician, kind of by trade, and to have a problem and not be able to fix it is very frustrating, right? So how much more with your health? You're not living up to your potential. You're having something disrupting and not be able to fix it is very frustrating. But some of the changes that we made were in the book. It gave pretty pointed guidance actually for our situation. Let me share with you a quote. Talks a little bit about some of the things that we did. It comes from chapter 23 of the book Ministry of Healing. It says, grains, fruits, nuts, and vegetables constitute the diet chosen for us by our Creator. These foods, prepared in as simple and natural manner as possible, are the most healthful and nourishing. They impart a strength, a power of endurance, and a vigor of intellect that are not afforded by a more complex and stimulating diet. Now, when I hear that, I think about maybe the diet given to us in Eden, a more whole foods kind of oriented diet. And one of the things that we did that we received the biggest benefit was cutting out fast food, and particularly a place that we frequented that I grew up with. My wife had some experiences with it growing up. She grew up in Mexico, but they traveled to the States, and they visited this place. I won't name them by name to avoid any kind of defamation lawsuit that I might incur. But they sell that fake Mexican food. I'm sure you all know what I'm referring to. But we all loved it. We went there often enough, but we stopped going there, and we noticed that my son's night terrors went away. And this wasn't the only change we did. We tried to incorporate a more whole foods kind of diet along with this, and the night terrors went away, and my sleepwalking improved. I could say I walk better at night, but no, they went away. But so we incorporated the whole foods and started doing that. Another thing that we did, a principle that was laid forth in this book, is here, same chapter, chapter 23. Another pernicious habit is that of eating just before bedtime. The regular meals may have been taken, but because there is a sense of faintness, more food is eaten. By indulgence, this wrong practice becomes a habit, and often so firmly fixed that it is thought impossible to sleep without food. As a result of eating late suppers, the digestive process is continued through the sleeping hours. But though the stomach works constantly, its work is not properly accomplished. The sleep is often disturbed with unpleasant dreams, and in the morning the person awakes unrefreshed and with little relish for breakfast. And this really rang true for me particularly. If I had a late supper, especially if it was maybe a little heavier, I would predictably have sleepwalking dreams or something where I got up out of bed. And I would have a earlier or a lighter supper, or no supper at all, and I would sleep like a baby all the way through the night. It was pretty interesting. There is some guidance in this book, in chapter 25, about furthermore about suppers. It says the practice of eating but 2 meals a day is generally found a benefit to health, yet under some circumstances persons may require a 3rd meal. This should, however, if taken at all, be very light and a food most easily digested. Crackers, the English biscuit, or zwieback, which is kind of like a raised bread but cooked twice to where it's like a cracker, and fruit or cereal coffee are the most best suited for the evening meal. Cereal coffee is like a coffee that's not made out of coffee beans but cereal grains. So we try to implement this with the boys. You know, we feed them suppers, but we try to keep it light and relatively early, and they do pretty well. They go right to sleep, and they wake up, you know, refreshed, ready for a new day. And for me and mommy, we do 2 meals a day a lot, sometimes maybe a little light supper, but I have, it seems, less wiggle room on that, at least at this point. And really interesting and so satisfying to make a change and see the benefit from it. You know, we try to have balanced meals. You know, we get all our fats, proteins, and carbs in there. We're not focusing primarily on any single group. We try to have those in, you know, kind of the recommended range. Nothing crazy. We're not doing any kind of fad diets or anything. But we wanted to share our journey, kind of what we do and the experiences that we've had and the benefits that we've received. And we figured social media was a good way to do that. It's a great avenue for us to learn and to share as individuals. We benefit from a lot of experiences from other people on YouTube, and we figured we had a contribution as well to be able to bless others. So some exciting things that we were experiencing. If you want to get a hold of this book yourself, it's available online, a number of different places, but we would like to recommend a website called familyhomechristianbooks.com. And if you go there and you enter our priority shipping or priority shopping ID, which is 1924-1905, we'll have all this information below in the description. But if you enter that ID, we get a little kickback, so we can further talk about the benefits of this book and how it'll bless you more. We'll share more stories and whatnot. When I first had the idea of sharing some of these thoughts, it didn't really come into mind about promoting a book, but we were talking with some people who sell these books, and so, well, this would be a good way to be able to make more videos about this, and maybe do some interviews later on. If you have some experiences yourself with how the Ministry of Healing has blessed you, leave a comment down below, and possibly we'll talk about sharing your story and how it's benefited you. So with the hard copy version, I like it especially because when it's mine, it's mine. Once I've bought it, it's on my shelf. No one can censorship away, my privilege of reading it from the internet. It's always going to be available. It never dies. It's easy on the eyes. It's easy to read. When I like to read in the morning, I like to read as much as possible hard copies because my eyes appreciate it for sure. If you want to get a hold of a free electronic version of this, or be able to read this electronically, you can do that at egwritings.org. On there you can get the electronic version. You can have audio version as well if you want to listen to it in your car. I do this a lot with audiobooks. I really appreciate them, to be able to listen to something educational while I'm working or driving. It's a big benefit, but again, that is free. They also have an application that you can use on your mobile device. So that is a big benefit. So you can just whip out and do word searches as well, which is pretty handy. I use it a lot. If you like this video, like, share, subscribe, hit the bell for the notifications, and that'll help us to create more content like this. Share with your friends if you have somebody that you know struggles with sleepwalking or bad dreams at night, disruptive dreams, unpleasant dreams. Share this with them. If their kid struggles with night terrors, share it with them, and they can experiment themselves with the ideas that we are implementing. But yeah, that's the conclusion of our sharing. I hope it's been entertaining, if nothing else, a blessing, and looking forward to recording some more videos to share with you folks. Bye-bye.